welcome to this live currency strength indicator table video with me, John, on this Tuesday the 14th of February. And here I have two tables in front of us. We have the trend traders table and the day traders table. These are showing the same studies but just highlighting different time frames. So the trend traders is our higher time frame, day traders is our lower time frame. You can see here some of the currencies are highlighted in green. That means there's a confluence between the two trading time frames. That's where we'll be focusing our attention in these videos. Now remember, we use these live currency strength indicator tables to show us how to find a trending pair in the markets and which markets have momentum with them at the moment, because the momentum is what we're looking to continue to trade. Okay, so the tables also update every 15 minutes 24/7 as well, so if you are a member you can access these tables and see how the markets stand right now in real time. So how do the markets stand today? Well, they stand with the Swiss Franc being the strongest on the trend traders and being the second strongest on the day traders. The Canadian dollar is the second strongest on the trend traders but only the third strongest on the day traders. The yen remains top as the weakest currency on both tables, and the New Zealand dollar comes in at the second weakest on the trend and the third weakest on the day traders. So interesting amount of markets you could look at. You could look at an old favourite of ours, which is Kiwi CAD. You could look at CAD yen long. We discussed CAD yen recently. You could look at pound US dollar as well. We've got a cable to look at today. I'm going to take a little look at it. Despite it not having a confluence, I will have a look at cable. But I'm going to have a little look at Swiss yen. It tops both the trend traders table and is fairly high on the day traders, so I want to be looking at that market in particular. So let's jump into Swiss yen first. You can see here I'm on the daily time frame, and you can tell that not only by the chart that we are on, but if you look in the top left hand corner, we do have chart partner. A link for this is in the description below, so if you want to have a little look at adding this, make your life a lot easier by seeing all this data. You can see the open, the high, the low. You can see your spread, so your cost of doing business with this market, and the time frame that you are on. We also have clickable links here for you to head over to the website. So what are we looking at the moment? Well, we can see that price recently found support down here at the 137.50 handle. These were the lows back in August, and also the highs back in towards the end of May, start of June of 2022. So price has come all the way back into this level. Not only was it that horizontal support, bit of a zoom out, you can see that it was this trend line support all the way back through here. We've had multiple tests of this trend line, and price has come right into that level combined with the horizontal support, and price has rallied at 660 pips to the upside. So looking to see if this trend now will continue. We can see that price is also trading outside of the previous resistance level, which is the 143 handle. You can see price was finding resistance in and around there until yesterday, when that yen weakness helped drive Swiss yen higher. We're now trading above the 200 moving average as well, so we've got multiple confluences to suggest that we should be looking for longs. Now we're looking for longs, but where do we look for targets? Well, you can see I've mapped out the 148.25 handle. These were these significant highs that formed back in December. I call these significant highs because you can see how price reacted to that level. On a minor point of view, if I just go down to the 8-hour chart and zoom out, we can see I've also marked out the 144.75 because that was also an area where some strong selling came in, and we saw price fall about 550 pips to the downside. So looking for opportunities into that area. We also have a trend line resistance running through, so that's a good area to look for price to either reverse from here back down to support, then look for the long opportunity, or targets if we're going to be long around about this 143 handle, because that's where I'm looking for price to come to. Don't really want to get involved with it here just from a safety point of view, where you're going to put your stops and things like that. I want to see price come back down into the 143. If it does and it rejects at 143, we can start looking for longs into the 144.75. If that doesn't happen and price just heads higher and trades through the 144.75 handle, then I think that's going to really open the door for a move up to that 148.25. You can even see like this high as well previously is around about the 147 handle. Also acted as key resistance, so we've got lots of resistance up here which price could target on its way to the upside. Now that's for your trend traders. Day traders, you may want to be a little bit more aggressive. If I start going down the time frames, you can see that price is finding support back down at this 143 sort of 50 zone. Through here we're starting to see price rally to the upside. What I would like to look for, again, I like to look at sort of double tops, double bottom patterns. So if we were to kind of come back in and you did see buyers stepping back in at this point, you could argue that day traders could be long back to previous structure highs and then towards that higher area of resistance being the 144.75 handle. So that's something for the day traders and the trend traders to look for. I like the idea of being long around about 143. If price can come back down here, form some bullish price action, that would be a good idea to look for some opportunities around there. I did say we'll talk about cable, so I am going to go on to cable now. And the reason why I'm talking about cable, you can see that pound tops the day traders and the dollar is the second weakest. Now, the dollar also features on the trend traders as the third strongest. So what this is potentially telling me is that from a higher time frame point of view, the dollar is stronger. However, on a short-term point of view, we've got dollar weakness, which means that in the higher time frame trend, we could be in a pullback phase, or we could be seeing early signs of a reversal. We have to judge that then by looking at the technicals in the market. Now, looking at pound US dollar, we actually talked about rejections here in our previous video at the trendline support and around about the 200 moving average, around about the 1.2 area essentially. We then talked about waiting for price to come back to the 1.22 for a short idea. So if you did look at that, price pulled back and you did see an extension down back to that trendline support. Now we're heading back to the 1.22 handle. We need to see how price reacts here, because I've got a feeling we may trade a little bit higher, because the last time we spoke about pound, we also talked about looking to see if it will retest this range that it broke out of. So I wouldn't be surprised if we traded through the 1.22, moved up towards the 1.2275 and retested in and around this range. Now, just to kind of add a bit of a caveat to this, if you were to head over into the description box on YouTube, if you are watching this at a later date, members, you won't be able to see the description just yet. But if you were to head over to the services tab, instead come down to your calendar and economic forecasts and just scroll down, you'll see we have US CPI data out, and it's a very important bit of data set. So, you know, the reason being is because the Federal Reserve are putting a lot of effort into saying that the US is now in a deflationary environment, or potentially in a deflationary environment. If CPI moves higher, then the Federal Reserve may have pulled the trigger slightly early, essentially, which could cause some volatility in the US dollar today. So really interesting data coming up. We may not see pound US dollar do much towards that event. That's why I've picked out Swiss yen for one to watch, being the 143 handle is definitely one to keep on your radar. Just down through here, set some alerts and see if price comes into that level. I hope you enjoyed the video. I look forward to speaking to you in the next one, and have a great trading day.